All right, this is the Geometry Unit 6 Lesson 7 video for this last two figures or types of figures that you need to be able to find the perimeter and area of. One of them is going to have formulas, and the other one is really just a combination of basically everything we've done so far. So let's talk about regular polygons. Regular polygons are polygons where all of the sides have the same length. And when that happens, we can use some formulas to help us find the area and perimeter. The only two dimensions that you're going to need is going to be the S, which is the side length, and the A, which is called the apothem, but is this length here that goes from the center of the figure directly to one side, forming a right angle. So let's say we were looking at this figure, which is a hexagon, and let's say the apothem was 3 and the side length was 4. So if we had that, we would use the regular polygon formula, which is the following. The perimeter equals n times s. We might say, well, Mr. Matthews, you said that there are only two dimensions, s and a. That is true, but there is also this other idea that we need to have, which is the n, which is the number of sides. So I'm going to write that down here. N equals the number of sides. So in this figure, that number is 6 because there are 6 sides on a hexagon. And so my perimeter would be 6 times 4, and that would be 24. And let's just call these meters. This one. 24 meters would be the perimeter of this figure. So again, the n is the number of sides, and the s is the side length. So there's our formula there for a regular polygon perimeter. And then we would do our area formula, which is 1/2 a times p. And what's cool about this, if you do perimeter first, this number for perimeter is what you need to put in to that formula. So the apothem we found was 3. We were given that. And so we get 1/2 times 3 times 24. So we hop over here to our calculator and we say 1/2 times 3 times 24. And we get 36. 36 meters squared. And that is the area of this regular polygon. So there's your formula. The only things you'll need to bring to the table is you'll need to identify the number of sides. So if it's octagon, you'll do 8. Whatever the shape is, when you look at it, you need to determine what the number of sides are. This one would be 5. So that's something you're going to have to do when you sit down to do the problem. Now, the last thing in this unit is composite figures. So I'm going to actually just walk through their example right here of how composite figures work. So a composite figure is a shape made up of other shapes. And in order to find the area of them, you need to basically chop it up into pieces that you know how to find the area and then add those pieces together. So for instance, in this example, they have split this figure here into the shaded regions you see here. So we have 3 regions, and we're gonna say this is the area of the square, the area of the rectangle, and this is going to be the area of the triangle. And we're going to add up those 3 things to find the total area. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to calculate individually the different values of these 3. So we're going to work through each one separately. So let's kind of follow along with what they do. So let's follow along what they are doing here. So for the area of our square, the square has a side length of 8. And so we find the area of that by doing s squared or 8 squared, and we get 64. Then they found the area of this rectangle. They did 14, the length, times the width, 6. 14 times 6 gives me the area of the rectangle, 84. Then they find the area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. We didn't cover triangles in this lesson, in this unit, but you have that formula there. And I can post that on the notes as well. So you have it, that formula. 1/2 base times height. The base is 6, the height is 4. 1/2 times 6 times 4 is 12. Then they just went and they did area of a square plus the area of a rectangle plus the area of the triangle, added those three up, and that gives us this value. So just to jump down and look at what they ask you to do. So we obviously see have the two regular polygons. And then we have find the total area. So you need to find the area of number 1, number 2, and number 3. And then you add them up. So this is a rectangle, this is a square, this is a triangle. You need to calculate those each separately, and then you add them together. So you're going to need a lot of space to work this one out on your paper. Same thing here. We have a kite and a triangle. So that's only 2 parts. Part number 1 is a kite. Part number 2 is a triangle. So use the kite formula and the triangle formula on these 2 shapes here and that shape there. More regular polygons. Another composite figure. There's 4 parts. Rectangle, square, triangle, triangle. Trapezoid, square, rectangle, triangle. I'm just giving you that so that you can know which formulas to use for those. And here they actually have you find region number 1, trapezoid. Region number 2, square. Region number 3, rectangle. Region number 4, triangle. And then finally, find the total area. Add up those 4. And then more of the same. Find area 1. That's a trapezoid. Base 1, base 2. Leg 1, leg 2. Area 2. Triangle. Total area. Trapezoid plus triangle. I misspoke earlier. This is leg 1. This is leg 2. This is the height. 38 is the height. I'll write that down. In this formula, base 1 is 30. Base 2 is 20. Leg 1 is 39. Leg 2 is 40. And the height of the trapezoid is 38. So hopefully that will help you sort out everything, because that one's a little bit confusing. That's for finding the trapezoid. Then you find the triangle, then you add them up. So quite a bit of work in this lesson, but I think mostly straightforward. It's really combining things you've already done. If you put out a request to me, if I hear from some of you that you would like to see some of these worked out, I'm happy to work out the parts for you, but maybe give it a try and see how you do. But I'm happy to do more problems if that is something that people want. So the next thing we'll have is a review, and then we'll be done with unit 6.